As we're leading on to 2025, one of the interesting discussions and interesting topic which is going to be taken over into 2025 is about the constitution reform and removal of the King of England as the head of state. Now, I've been reading this article by Professor ROSALEA Hamilton, which I know very well. She's one of those voices. You need to have those voices that are very advocating for due diligence in Jamaica, advocating for fairness, advocating for integrity, advocating for transparency, advocating for accountability, and in many ways. Now, she wrote an article recently, and it's about the constitution reform, and it's about removal of the king as the head of state. Now, she mentioned about the Constitution Amendment Republic Bill of 2024. I'm going to read some bits of it, which was tabled in Parliament on December the 10th. The first legal step in the process of reforming the Constitution to establish a Jamaican Republic. The process requires Jamaicans to vote in a referendum about the legal framework that will underpin the future development of our country, my country, your country, those in the diaspora. But what exactly will we vote for? That's a question. The bill, she says, contains a complexity of issues. Some she supports, but others she rejects and sees as dangerous for Jamaicans' future. What's in this bill? Well, and she set out 6 areas. The bill repeals the Jamaica Constitution Order in Council 1962 and adopts the second schedule, the Constitution of Jamaica, as domestic law with the following changes. And I go for 1, the removal of the British monarchy as head of state. This is way overdue. I believe no one will argue with that. I believe even when I said this to a couple of key persons in the UK, they just said yes. I don't think they even passed 1 and gone to 6 or some of the issues which she has raised. But they just say yes. Everybody wants by now Jamaica to be a fully independent country. I've always said that the process of independence started in 1962, but independence is not fully complete until the removal of the head of state, which is the King of England. How can you say you're independent and you're swearing allegiance to a foreign power, which is the king? Foreign power in the Constitution, that may be debatable depending on when it comes on to talking about the dual citizenship. So that's 1. The replacement of a Jamaican president as a head of state chosen by the Prime Minister through a parliamentary process. Yep. 3. Entrenchment of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. And 4. Modification of rules for citizenship, rights, and legislative processes. 5. Recognitions and formalization of national symbols, emblems, and items, including the flag, anthem, and motto under Jamaica's jurisdiction. And 6, which is the key one, retention of the parliamentary cabinet system of government. Retention of the parliamentary cabinet system of government. What she says is this, and listen carefully, this is very crucial. The most consequential and troubling aspect of the bill is number 6, retention of the parliamentary cabinet system of government. This really means that we will be asked in a referendum to accept directly or indirectly unfettered, top-down governance in the structure of government that concentrates power in the hands of the Prime Minister, the PM, and cabinet. Now, what she's actually saying there, and what we need to check and understand is that if the government, PNP or JLP, have 2/3 majority, waboom, they can determine who the president is, really and truly. And therefore, what you have is that the government will still be factored under a sort of PNPIs or JLPIs or political system, because the people, in a sense, won't directly elect the president. But even if they elect the president, you have to remember this at the same time. It is asking for the retention of the parliamentary cabinet system of government. And if you retain that, then that is where the problem is going to be. The potential problem. Because they always say nothing is wrong with removing the king as the head of state. But it is when you remove, who are you going to replace it with? How are you going to replace it? With what? And what sort of system? So that is something to be thought about. And I believe that as Jamaicans, we need to be fully cognizant of all of this which is happening. And don't be distracted at this time. This is a very important step. We need to ensure that the Constitution and the reform and the removal of the head of state, it is not PNPIs or GLPIs or UICIs, but it should be Jamaicanized. And that's very important. Very, very important. My name is Silver and Sidio in the park, King's Park, in the diaspora, London. Thank you. Bye-bye.